Hi everybody, it's Jane from Living Skies Vintage. Welcome back to my channel. Glad to see you back again. I'm going to show you today a few things that I have found while thrifting. This is not jewelry, this is some other vintage items that I've come across, and I hope you enjoy it. If you do like seeing some of these things, let me know and I'll bring some more of them out and show you. I do have a few kind of surrounding me. You can see a lot of my jewelry in the back, but I have other things in the window. So let me know. As I said, please like, share, and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. Ring that bell, and then anytime I put up a new video, you'll be sure to get notified. Thanks a lot for coming. Thanks a lot for visiting, and we'll see you again. I'll let you go, and I'll put on the next bit. Bye now. Okay, here we go, guys. So I found a few items lately that I think you might be interested in seeing. So let's start off. Here's something that I just found recently. Look at this. It's a perfume bottle. It's missing its bulb. That's easy to replace. Those do tend to wear out because they're rubber. They'll crack and they will just be ruined. I did wash this out, so there's a little bit of water still inside, but there's a beautiful Aurora Borealis kind of coating to the glass. All of these flowers are all hand painted. Every single one of them is hand painted, and I believe that this is actual gold on the rim of both around the top and the bottom. This is brass. It says made in France on here, and it has the glass rod still inside for the perfume. So that I found at the thrift store. I really think it's really pretty. It's not something usually, but it just caught my eye, and I knew I had to stop and get it. Then I got here. This is a very guy type thing, but look at this. Look at this old pipe. I do not know what this is. This could be horn, or it could be bakelite. I don't know. But it seems to me that it's something special. And again, much more for the guys. I meant to take a closer look at what this says. This says T-Y-R-O, Tyrol. And I think it's Tyroler Pipe. Tyroler Pipe. And Innsbruck. So I've heard of Tyrolean pipes. Maybe that's what that's got to do with. But you can see it's a little bit worn on the sides. Probably where it's been sitting on the shelf and, you know, just rubbing and moving over time. But here's the interesting part of it. This whole part. And the clips, there's your, it's been used. It's been well loved. So it's a working pipe. I'm not sure what that is. Could be silver. This is not. But I think it's interesting. Anyways, a very kind of a man, more of a man thing. More than likely. This is what I wanted to show you. I did not get this thrifting, but this is, if you've never seen an abalone shell, this is an abalone shell. This is something that my husband got from his grandparents, and they got this quite some time ago. Look at the colors in that. That's why abalone is used for jewelry. Hey, just the shine. Look at the colors in the rainbow along there. The pinks and the blues in that shell. Look at how big. So that's my hand. Okay, my hand. That's an abalone shell. I found a conch shell when I was yard sailing last week. This shell is the kind of shells that you make cameos out of. Oh. And it's this big. Look at, you can't find these this size anymore. But look at the inside. The pink in here is much more vibrant than what you see on the screen. But look at the whole inside lip of this. That's what your cameos are made from. These shells. You can see the hints, and they're thick, and this is heavy. Heavy. Look at how you can see the lip, and they carve all of this away and get left with this beautiful coloration in the background, and then the high parts remain white. But look at the size of this compared to this. So yeah, I found that yard sailing, and I thought it was just so beautiful that I had to bring it home. And just it just feels just like marble, but it's not. This is a real shell. This is a real shell. It is not ceramic. It's a real shell. This is a real shell. Anyways, so I'm going to move just these out of the way for a second because they're huge. And then I'm going to bring some naughty cards. Found these yard sailing. They're called 52 Art Studies. You can imagine from there what the rest of the cards might be like. And every single one is different. They're all different. Yeah, I don't think I can show anything else, really. So yeah, I found those at a yard sale. Looking at these ladies, I'd say that they're from the 40s or 50s. The only sad thing about this deck, one card is missing, the Queen of Spades. But I don't know that anybody's going to play with them. I think if anybody's going to do anything with them, might split them up. But we'll see. So I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing to find. I also found with that some interesting, these are called Reading Shop Blueprints, and they're all about learning to read blueprints. And if you know me, I am a collage artist. I've been kind of looking for things that are maybe a little more along the masculine side. I have a lot of collages that celebrate the ladies, but I'm feeling that I needed something more to maybe celebrate some guys too, some more masculine type things. So I thought, well, these are cool. So I've got all of these that I may or may not use in that way, but they are so interesting. Part 1 through part 4, and then this one is the elements of blueprint reading. Just look at I love the blue on this. And then in this package is the actual larger scale blueprints that back in the day, and this fascinates me, I hope you realize, because I am a drafter by profession now. So back in the day, this would have been how people were looking at drawings. And this was all hand done. I now do things on the computer, but all of this would have all been written by hand, and they were taught to do that. This particular course is just getting them to actually read the blueprints, but I think that they're fascinating. So those may end up in my art. I'll just put that over here for now. And then, oh, here's something. I got to fix this. It's an abacus. It needs to get re-glued back to the marble, but there's a actual guidebook, if I can get it out. It's been stuck in here for so long. There we go. Come on out. So you can learn how to read your abacus. Look at that old typing. That isn't computer printed stuff. Yeah, it tells you all about it. Find out how many 2s. Wow. So I think that's pretty cool. Get good at that. You don't need the computer. And it came in its own box. Boxes always tend to get a little worse for wear. Books. More books. Here's a crazy one. Personal Hygiene for Every Woman and Girl. A Social Guidance Enterprises publication. Frankly, reading some of this stuff in here is crazy. But it's got, some interesting, there we go, advice to the teenage girls. This was published in 1948. So we have some interesting contents. I'll let you guys take a peek and look over that, but yeah, there's some interesting. Life begins at 40, apparently. I thought I saw, there we go, life begins at 40. The so-called dangerous age. Ooh, physiological for a woman to put on weight at this time, and there's a tendency for this to occur more readily in some women than in others. So that a little caution and attention to diet will eliminate this possibility. Right. Anyways, 1948. Personal hygiene for every woman and girl. Speaking of personal hygiene, here's another thing that came out a long time ago about health. This is a very big book. The Illustrated Vitalogy by Professors Wood and Ruddock. It's in pretty good shape considering. The inner cover's a little rough, but it's got a nice marbled cover. Mr. H. Blaney. Came directly from the Vitalogy Sales Company here in Saskatoon. Now, there it's stamped again, and stamped again, and it has the paper in there still. An encyclopedia of health and home, adapted for the home, the layman, and the family. 20 books bound in one large volume. Sold by subscription only, $19.27. Published by Vitalogy Association, South Dearborn Street, Chicago, Illinois, and it's got the Saskatoon stickers all over, stamps all over it. I think that this book went to one family and stayed there because it is in such wonderful condition. This has a lot of really nice plates in it, and I'll show you those. Oh, I'm going to warn you first, because this is the human body, and it's one of these fantastic fold out where they have all of the numbers, and actually on the back of this page they tell you all what the numbers are, but every piece of this, and it's in beautiful condition. There's not a rip or a tear or a piece missing. This heart actually folds open like that, so you can completely see the heart. It goes down like that, folds that up. The lungs then fold up. We can then see the small and large intestines. There's the esophagus. This, I believe, is the liver. And in behind the liver is gallbladder, I believe, and pancreas, and the rest of your intestines there. Like, I am just amazed that that has not been torn off by some small child. Oh, here's your liver right there. All of these things are just so immaculate. Oops, he folds down, and then the rib cage folds over, and then he folds over and his head folds down. So there's that plate, and there's the key. And then we have this plate, and this is the view of the head and the skull. This one just flips one page at a time. Like, this is, you've seen this image often, I think, in stickers and that, but here it is here in an actual plate. So we've got lots, and I think that this would have been used in the home. There's things in here like if you get how to tell when fish is wholesome, bronchitis, itching of the colitis, how to stop bleeding from wounds. There we go, rabies. They talk about, like, this is the book that you'd have to have if the doctor was not close by. Like, we forget how easy it is for us to just go and see a doctor these days. But back in 1924, the doctor was a long ways away. Here's how to identify plants. And they give you a bunch of different plants too. Look at the colors in this. It's gorgeous. You even have a pineapple. These are all different things of how you would help people. What's this here? What did I just see? Table of doses for children. How to collect and prepare plants. Yeah, here it is. All the different plants that they would use or could use as medicinal ingredients, and there were some that they were told, nah, you gotta get the actual pharmacist to do this for you. Rhubarb. Red lobelia. I know that that's a plant. Yarrow is something that grows in the flower garden these days. So it's an interesting cancer of the stomach. It's an interesting book to read. Here more plates for identification purposes. Especially if you read some of their opinions, I would say. Theories, maybe. There. Healthy and inflamed stomach of a cigarette smoker. Yeah. Reading some of them, it's quite interesting. But it's in beautiful shape. Look at that beautiful little girl. Parents can have their children born with noble gifts. Anyways, it is a very interesting read, this book. And yeah, found that at a yard sale. Now, one of the most poignant things that I found at a yard sale, and they did not know who this person was this lovely little photograph of a child. Look at that. Isn't he sweet? And there's nothing marked on it at all. And a really old photography holder. And from that same family, I also found this. And I want to talk about this because this is something that really made me think once I found it and once I started reading it. It's a passport. You can see it's a passport. It's an old passport. It's from Great Britain. England, I would say. And it's not like the passports that we have now. Our passports are like little booklets. But look how this is huge. You know, it folds out completely. Her picture is here. I don't know if you guys, if it's going to show up very well. You can barely see it. This woman. It's a woman. This is a woman's passport. And her name was Mrs. Agnes McGrath. I believe that she was probably a wife of someone that was living in Canada, because in general at this time they did not give women passports. They gave men passports and then put their wives on there as additional people. So here we go. Request and acquire. Oh, and here in the passport regulations, the Foreign Office passports are granted to natural-born British subjects, to the wives and widows of such persons, and to persons naturalized in the United Kingdom, in the British colonies, or in India. And that would, Canada would be included there in the British colonies. A married woman is deemed to be a subject of the state of which her husband is for the time being a subject. So he would have been a British, probably part of the British colonies in Canada. And during the war, probably met this woman. I'm not really sure. We'll see. Anyways, we will continue with this. So her name is Miss Agnes McGrath, and it's being asked, the request and require in the name of His Majesty, so this was before Queen Elizabeth, all those whom it may concern, to allow Mrs. Agnes McGrath to pass freely without let or hindrance, and to afford her every assistance and protection of which she may stand in need. Given at the Foreign Office, London, the 1st day of November, 1919. There's the signature of the Foreign Office. This, I already showed you Agnes's photo, but let's talk about her description. So the description of the bearer: she was 26 years old. She had no profession. Born in Ayrshire in 1893, and her maiden name was Wiggins. Little bit of a woman, 5 feet. But this is where this gets me. Her forehead was ordinary. Her eyes were blue. Her nose was ordinary, and her mouth was ordinary. Her chin was ordinary. The color of her hair was black and curly. Her complexion was clear. Her face was ordinary, and she had no special peculiarities, but she was a British-born subject. Here's the children, particulars of children under 16 years. She had 3 boys and 1 daughter. Robert of 7 years, John of 5, James of 3, and Agnes of 9 months. This woman wasn't ordinary. This woman was traveling on her own at age 26 in 1919 with 4 young children to a country that she'd probably never seen before. Oh, I know she'd never seen it before, because it was on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. And she came to Canada, because this is where we found this. And it doesn't show that she's been anywhere else. There's no other stamps on this, no other place that she was going. She came to Canada. This was not an ordinary woman. I don't think any woman is ordinary, and I'm kind of really sad. Oh, here, this is traveling to Canada direct or via U.S. America. So she was traveling to Canada, and that's her passport. Not an ordinary woman. Not an ordinary woman. She had a lot of courage. She obviously made it. Yeah. Makes you think. Anyways, thank you all for coming and taking a peek at what I've found lately. These are some of the more interesting items that I will pick up when I find them, and I hope you enjoyed looking at them as much as I do. So have fun, and we'll see you again soon. Bye all.